Welcome to the morning of 3rd June 2026. I am Cookie. This is what we have for you for News Morning. President John Mahama secures the trade deals with UK Prime Minister as both countries seek to boost bilateral relations. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin directs House to reconsider the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025 after concerns emerged over the process that led to the passage of the bill. And Black Stars of Ghana drew 1-1 with Wales in an international friendly played in Cardiff. Bank of Ghana warns the public against forex hoarding as the regulator pledges commitment to economic stability. Let's take our stories now. President Mahama has held bilateral talks with the Prime Minister for the UK, Keir Starmer, with a special focus on trade and investment. The two leaders have renewed strong economic ties and explored areas of mutual cooperation as Ghana seeks to attract investment and expand trade opportunities. Christian Yale has sent this report at the Ghana-UK Investment Summit.
From the Jubilee House in Accra to number 10 Downing Street in London, President Mahama's visit to the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer goes beyond a mere visit to something profound about building a stronger relation between the two countries. Discussions at the closed-door meeting centered on trade and investment opportunities after a major growth partnership agreement signed between the two countries as part of the just-ended Ghana-UK Investment Summit. Other deals have been signed as well, and the president is expected to also pay a royal visit to King Charles III and undertake a few more activities before ending his visit to the UK.
Ghana-UK Investment Summit 2026 officially closed.
Trade Minister Elizabeth Ofosua-Jare delivered the official closing remarks to end the two-day investment summit, which has been nothing short of success. Before the closing, Governor of the Bank of Ghana held a high-level meeting on trade financing, urging the Ghana International Bank to leverage its global prominence to address evolving challenges in the space.
Across Africa, the trade finance gap is estimated at over $80 billion annually. It is in effect a growth constraint on our economies. So addressing this gap is not a technical exercise as such. It is a development imperative for us to consider. Institutions such as Ghana International Bank are uniquely positioned to respond to this challenge. With a strong presence in international financial markets and deep understanding of African trade corridors, GHIB and similar banks serve as essential conduits between global liquidity and local enterprise.
CEO of the Ghana International Bank, Dean Adanse, assured local banks of support.
As we navigate a much more turbulent and topsy-turvy world, I wish to assure you that GHIB, with the support of the Bank of Ghana, will continue to staunchly support local banks and other local entities in addressing some of these intractable commercial and economic challenges in a changing world. Our activities in promoting trade have long been supportive of economic growth, given the close relationship between trade and GDP growth in our markets and in sub-Saharan Africa in general.
From one sector to the other, Ghana has laid bare reforms, growth, and attractive proposals to woo investors. But the conversations will not end here. More is expected after the summit had ended. Christian Yale, TV3 News, London.
Thank you, Christian Yale. But here in Ghana, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin says Parliament must revisit the passage of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. He says the bill was passed, but the process used in taking it through the third reading has raised serious procedural concerns. He is therefore asking MPs to reconsider the bill. There's more in this report.
The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill has once again placed Parliament, the presidency and the country at the center of a heated national conversation. On Friday, May 29, Parliament passed the bill after taking it through the consideration stage and third reading on the same day. But what appeared to be the final parliamentary step has now opened another round of questions. First, Speaker of Parliament Alban Gbagwin said he was surprised by the passage of the bill. Then President Mahama indicated that the bill has a long way to go before becoming law. Now, the Speaker has returned with a stronger concern. He wants Parliament to revisit the bill and reconsider it.
Honourable members, I call on Parliament to rely on the provisions of motions and the conventions of this House to go back to this historic and important bill and reconsider it.
According to Gbagwin, the issue is not about abandoning the bill or rejecting its objectives. He says the concern is about whether Parliament followed its own rules before passing it. He also says concerns have been raised about whether MPs had access to the final amended version of the bill before taking the final decision.
The legitimacy, credibility, and enduring authority of any law depend not only on the objectives sought to be achieved, but also in the integrity of the process by which the law is enacted. Procedural law is as equally important as substantive law. What we do here must be able to withstand any legal and constitutional challenges that are sure to come.
Gbagwin says the bill was introduced as a bipartisan national issue, but the proceedings on the day of passage did not reflect the same unanimity and bipartisan understanding.
The bill has from its inception been presented to the nation as a bipartisan legislative initiative. It is therefore my considered view that legislation of this magnitude ought, as far as practicable, to command not merely the numerical support of a majority of members, but also the broad confidence of the House regarding both its substance and the process by which it was adopted. What is right must be done rightly.
In more news this morning, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called for increased investment in the rice value chain to strengthen food security, boost economic growth and transform agriculture across West Africa. She made the call at the opening of a two-day West Africa Rice Investment Roundtable in Accra, where policymakers, investors, development partners and agri-business leaders have gathered to discuss opportunities in the sector.
Every year, Ghana consumes about 1.7 million tons of rice, but produces only about 960,000 tons, leaving a deficit of roughly 751,000 tons and a self-sufficiency rate of 56%. The shortfall cost the country an estimated $320 million yearly in rice imports. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, at a two-day rice investment roundtable in Accra, announced that the country will introduce a new policy linking rice import permits to investments in domestic rice production. This, he noted, forms part of an ambitious plan to achieve full rice self-sufficiency within the next decade.
Under this policy, rice importers will be required to demonstrate verifiable procurement of and partnership with Ghanaian rice production before import permits are approved. We are not raising tariffs that punish consumers. We are not imposing bans that create shortages. We are redirecting the existing value in the rice trade towards building our own productive capacity.
The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, said the event was not only about rice production, but also about economic transformation, regional integration, and Africa's ability to feed itself sustainably. She noted that recent climate shocks, export restrictions, trade tariffs and geopolitical tensions have exposed weaknesses in global food systems, making food security a critical issue for national development and stability.
Countries that import too much food also import vulnerability. We see this as an opportunity for Africa to reclaim greater control of its food future. That is why Ghana is relentlessly implementing its Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda as part of the broader economic reset program.
President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Umar Aliu Toure, reaffirmed commitment to ensure a single regional agricultural policy for West Africa, driven by collective action among ECOWAS and its regional partners.
Greater Accra Regional Director of a National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Dennis Nate Ajono, says engineers who approved building permits and property owners who developed wetlands and Ramsar sites will face prosecution even after affected structures are demolished. He made the announcement at the launch of the No Do flood awareness campaign by NADMO, aimed at encouraging responsible environmental practices to help reduce flooding.
Rains are here, and with them comes the threat of flooding. According to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, rainfall this year is expected to be above normal, raising concerns about the impact on flood-prone areas. Over the past 2 weeks, several communities across Accra have experienced heavy downpours, leading to flooding in parts of the capital. Many homes have been submerged by floodwaters, forcing residents to flee to safety and resulting in the loss of property and in some cases, their lives. To mitigate the risk this year, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, in collaboration with Zoomlion Ghana Limited, a subsidiary of the Jospong Group of Companies, has launched the No Do Flood Awareness Campaign. The 12-week initiative will be rolled out in 4 phases and will feature community engagements, public education campaigns, and cleanup exercises across the Greater Accra region. The campaign seeks to promote responsible waste disposal and discourage encroachment on wetlands and waterways. The Greater Accra Regional Director of NADMO, Dennis Nate Ajono, has warned that individuals who build on wetlands, as well as officials who facilitate such developments, risk facing legal consequences.
Those who are building on waterways, the first thing is your structure will be pulled down. And I think in the past we've been doing demolition of the structures without any prosecution. But now, when we pull down the structure, we'll prosecute you, the owner, as well. Then you can bring the one who sold the land to you on board. And also, if you have permits, then the engineer who authorized that permit would also be brought to book, because wetlands are not title lands. And before you go through the permit process, you must first of all have a title land before you may be approved, or your permit will be approved. So it means that if you have a permit and that place is not titled, then your permit is illegal. So everybody will be prosecuted.
The General Manager for Government Affairs, Strategic Partnerships, Corporate Affairs, Media and Brands at Zoomlion Ghana Limited, Emma Adjoa-Apia, says public participation will be key to the campaign's success.
Today is the 2nd of June, and we know what June brought to Ghana. No do sends one clear message: don't dump, don't block, let water flow. This campaign is our joint response. Zoomlion brings its waste management expertise, and NADMO brings its disaster prevention mandate.
One strategy being employed to increase reach and engagement is the use of social media and an infomercial produced in 4 different languages. NADMO is calling on all Ghanaians to play their part in ensuring the success of the campaign. Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's continue this morning. In communities across Ghana, women and girls with disabilities continue to face hidden struggles in managing menstrual health and hygiene. Menstruation is a natural part of life, yet for many living with physical, sensory, or intellectual disabilities, the experience is complicated by barriers that go far beyond biology.
On the physical challenges, stigma and silence deepen exclusion, leaving many without the dignity, privacy, and support they deserve. For one mother, caring for her 12-year-old daughter with cerebral palsy means relying on diapers. She laments the lack of products designed for girls like her child and calls for pads that meet their unique needs.
During the menstrual time now, it's easy because your bar.
It's tough for her during her menstrual cycle. I usually put a pamper on her with a pad, but I don't know if I can use just the pad alone without causing her any infection.
Let me use pad infection.
16-year-old Form 1 student Chantel Adongo says stigma around menstruation still persists in schools, making young girls feel isolated.
The day that it started, she started feeling pains. Those days, pad, she wasn't having pad, so they taught her how to use cloth. Sometimes when she stains her dress, her friends, and they mock at her, they laugh at her. It's very disgraceful. She feels shy. She doesn't feel good.
Midwifery officer at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Philippina Ajele Adu, urges families to seek medical care whenever they notice unforeseen changes during menstruation.
People feel that menstruation is dirty and that when girls are menstruating or women are menstruating, they don't need to go to certain places, example, church and school. It is not true. It is a natural thing with women. So I don't think people should discriminate against women or girls who menstruate. Sometimes if you saw yourself as a woman, you don't have to feel shy about it.
Marking World Menstrual Health Day with persons with disabilities, the Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister, Dr. Na Momolate, emphasized the importance of menstrual health and hygiene education.
Those who have severe disabilities that impair their mobility, you realize that those people need extra support. It's not as simple as we see it as handing over pad, but it's also making sure that this menstruation, which is a natural thing, is done with dignity.
Let's head to the courts now as drama unfolded on Tuesday when MPP Bono Regional Chairman Kwame Bafo, also known as Abronye, showed up with his lawyer before presiding Judge Joseph Yanuban Kusong for continuation of his case. Now, the presiding judge took issue with an allegation by the defense lawyer that the court failed to capture accurately what transpired at the last adjourned date. Lord Edu Asari reports.
As conducive to the breach of peace and publication of false news over alleged derogatory remarks against the circuit court judge. He has pleaded not guilty and is on a 100,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties to be justified. Daniel Mate Ado, representing the NPP Bono Regional Chairman, notified the court that both the accused and the legal team heard the judge indicate in his ruling that Abronye be remanded into BNI custody until the final determination of the matter. However, the court records had captured that he be remanded until the next adjourned date, which was in 2 weeks' time. The judge noted that the allegation connotes a serious offense of forgery of judicial documents, which had grave repercussions. Joseph Konsong then scolded the lawyer, noting that they, including the MP for Efutu, Afenyomaking, had stirred the public up by misrepresenting the facts as they happened in court. He read the ruling on the day, which corroborated that Abronye was to be remanded into the BNI custody until the next adjourned date, and directed the defense lawyers to update their record. He further reminded the prosecution to file the disclosures within 14 days and adjourn the case to July 14. Daniel Mate Ado spoke to the media after proceedings.
I have a document I authored, and as a lawyer, how can I run away from the document I authored myself? But as I said, in the end, the court's record is the court's record, and notwithstanding whatever the lawyer had, the court's record is superior. So if in the end and on record for that day, it was indicated or it was indicated contrary to what we said, we will go by the records of the court. But it doesn't also take away what counsel and the legal team had in court. And not just counsel and the legal team, the accused person himself as well.
At the High Court, attempts by the NPP Bono Regional Chairman's lawyers to seek a variation of his bail conditions hit a snag after the court adjourned the hearing. Presiding judge in the matter indicated that the court had shortly been served with the prosecution's affidavit in opposition to the application. She therefore adjourned the proceedings to Thursday in order to assess the documents filed and rule on the application for bail variation. Meanwhile, Abronya says he'll continue to speak truth to the powers that be.
15, 17 months
Cases such as the issue of the unpaid teacher trainees deserve to be highlighted. If the government has a problem with that, I'll just go harder. Lord Dasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And to our final story, Ghana's Black Stars managed a 1-1 draw against the Wales national team at the Cardiff City Stadium, ending a run of 4 consecutive defeats after international friendlies. The result marked Carlos Queiroz's first game in charge of the Black Stars as preparations continue for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Wales dominated the opening half and were denied an early breakthrough by Lawrence Atizigi, who produced a brilliant save at the 11th minute. Despite Wales's dominance, Ghana took the lead in the 66th minute with a goal from Caleb Yurinchi, boosting the confidence of the Stars. In the dying minutes of the game, just when the Black Stars were sure of a victory, a defensive blunder led to an equalizer from Louis Kumas, who headed in a cross. The Black Stars will play their World Cup opener against Panama on June 17th, but it is uncertain whether the team will play a final friendly before heading to the US for the World Cup. Thank you for joining us this morning. Stay with us because we have New Day coming up.